Good morning, good morning. Give me one moment. Uno momento. Oh wow, this thing just repeats. I didn't even realize the music was looping. Alright. Okay. Should all be good here. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Fingers crossed we get a better morning than yesterday, because yesterday was just really bad. Good morning, Larry. Good morning. Sol Invictus Dominion. That's an awesome name. Yeah, so BNAI, very interesting. So we had like a huge flush into a spike. Yeah, so like on the daily, just with BNAI, this has been very SMX GLTO kind of themed, where we're just getting a huge squeeze on it. Yeah. Kelly B. Wow, this one, I mean, basically no volume at all on this thing. And it just out of nowhere just gaps up huge. All the way to 100. It says 35 million shares, but I'm kind of questioning that. Very strange. And on no news too. Okay, let me get up my scanners here. Don't really know. I mean, I can keep Kelly B on watch, not necessarily to trade it, just for observation's sake, because this does look interesting. I say no news, but Kelly B, this reads like it's some sort of like warrant or extra addition. So there could be an underline that's moving that's dictating the movement on Kelly B. Like if I just try Kelly, just out of curiosity, does this give me something? No, okay. Kelly A? Okay, so Kelly A is moving, and the general structure is pretty similar to Kelly B, so maybe this did something that is dictating the price on Kelly B. It's possible. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it here. Gotta lock in. BNAI, probably don't watch it. It's too high priced. CISS, getting a bit of a spike here at the top of the hour. Good volume on it. Good morning, Bright Awakening. Good morning to Lightspeed. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you enjoyed not having any trades yesterday. Okay, so about a 30-cent jump here. A bit of a cheaper stock. Supposedly only 1 million shares outstanding. What does the level 2 look like? Does that fly? No, this level 2's fairly thick. And I mean, looking at the daily, I mean, this thing's just been beaten into the ground. So, yeah, there's probably some kind of dilution that's taking place. ELPW. It's not really moving. I saw this little blip here, but it's not. It's a false signal. If you haven't already, if you could leave me a like, that would greatly help me out. I see 5 of you already have on my end. I do appreciate that. CANF. We do have news at the top of the hour. This looks like a fresh move. Definitely watch this one. Okay. Can fight patient with decompensated liver. Cirrhosis successfully undergoes live transplantation following treatment with namodenoson. Namodenoson. I always love how I butcher these pronunciations. I mean, it seems like okay news. This stock is in free fall. Okay, they did file a prospectus, but that was way back in November. So it's been about 3 months. This could have been getting diluted this whole time, but the dilution, I would assume, is mostly done at this point. A 1 for 3,000 reverse split. That's insane. Okay. 1 for 3,000. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this does have some of the workings that could do something. It's been holding around this $4 level for about a week now. We had a little bit of good volume here, but it's just dried up. Good morning. Broke the ice on CISS. Recent reverse split. Made 25 cents. Good stuff. Even if it was a recent reverse split, it still looks so thickly traded. Yeah, even with the reverse split, this is definitely not 1 million shares outstanding. Right, both the bid and ask are stacked with over 5,000, leaning towards 10,000. I'm glad you made money on it. Good morning, Sergit. 10 likes already. Nice volume. What? 10 likes? Holy crap. Thank you guys. I do appreciate it. That's a lot of likes this early. Thank you guys so much. People just want to see action today. I mean, this news is alright. I don't think this is bad news. Good morning, Skivon. Bid is slowly getting laddered down, but volume isn't super high either. See that crazy short squeeze on Kelly B at 4 a.m.? It's not really even a short squeeze because Kelly B is an instrument for another asset. Right? It's not the underlying. Kelly B moved because the underlying moved. It just looks like it was an overreaction, or maybe this one just moves more volatile. But this was not a short squeeze. It's still a very impressive move though. I do like this setup, but just the volume isn't there. Makes me hard to trust it. AVTV ended up rolling over. Didn't hold up at all. Man, I mean, this thing, it's not really getting volume on it. Keeps testing around this 450 level. I don't know. I don't really fully trust it. I mean, if we have a breakdown, I mean, I guess around like 390s could be good for a bounce. I don't know what the odds are we even get to that though with this kind of volume. And 40 on the ask. Man, we are just not getting good volume on these stocks lately. Right, and this is the top of the hour with news, so it's... These are the kind of stocks we're seeing right now. They're just not getting good follow-through volume here. If you're gonna have no volume at all on this breakdown, though, I would be interested before 4. Don't tell me we're entering a cold market now. I do have an order if this does decide to do one final leg down. I like that we went down on no volume. Problem is this pop-up was also on no volume. So far it seems like BNAI is the only thing moving, really. Yeah, I think I would agree with that, Skivon. Alright, I'm looking at some of these others where stocks that moved yesterday have just fully bled out. It's still pressuring the lower end here. If we do break down, we're approaching all-time low, so there's not going to be a lot of downward pressure. Or there shouldn't be anyway. Yeah. I need more music though, because this is just like the same general track. Just trying it out, see what you guys thought. You enjoying it, or... Well, I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I really should just get more tracks, right? Because, like, it's nice to have background music. I'll end this, but it would be nice to have more, right? Honestly, background music would be perfect in this kind of environment where there's literally nothing going on and we're just kind of relaxing, you know? This is like the time that I should be having a collection of background music. I think it's so-so. It is calming, but if you're really trying to focus... Okay, we're getting close to my entry here. We'll see if we get a final push down. Yeah, only like 1,000 volume. Isn't it fascinating how this can just get laddered down on no volume, though? Ross passed from 10K to 7K. How is he already taken 2 trades? Like, what is he trading BNAI? Like, he has to, that has to be what he's trading. JCXN is getting a bit of a pop. Don't trust it at all, though. Yeah, BNAI. Yeah, I mean, it has to be, right? That's the only thing that's moving. I mean, I guess you got Sys, but... Yeah, I don't think he would have traded Sys. JZXN still holding up nice. Don't trust this at all, by the way. I don't trust it. Alright, this stock has already shown a history of rugging. Chinese stock. It does have news. Yeah, unfortunately, I just can't trade GZXN. Way too sketchy of a stock, especially recently. You guys trade some exotic stuff in here. No, sometimes it's better. It really is. We are definitely in a period, especially the last 2 days, where it's just been very low. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Noob. The only real stock that, like, maybe has volatility is BNAI, but it's just so extended for me that I don't really want to touch it. Why the market's so cold? What happened in the world? Well, people just aren't getting those catalysts. They aren't getting that momentum. The bigger players are not willing to commit capital to these moves, so they're just not getting much volume. And the fact that the next best thing we have besides BNAI is a Chinese stock that has a sketchy history, pumping on, I mean, okay volume, nothing crazy high, but not really low either. I certainly don't trust this move, but we'll see if it does anything. I'm surprised Ross is trying to trade BNAI. It's quite a risky setup. So you had about a 37 cent move from the breakout point. To me, this is like the extent of what I would expect would happen. We'll see if it keeps going higher or not from here. CANF is still getting pressured. Push down with 900 shares of volume. I'm pretty close to a fill here. I did lower my price slightly. Okay, 17. 4,000 shares of volume. Isn't it interesting, though, to see how this just completely bled the whole thing back? Yeah, JCXN's still holding for now. This is going to be kind of sad if I actually don't hit price target here. Yeah, so I had an order. What was the low here? 17. So I was 4 cents off of an entry here. To be fair, it hasn't really bounced so much yet, so I'm not going to say that I missed out. Right. It's only bounced 7 cents. It's not a huge amount. But I was super close there. It is a very cold market. So, well, let's do the same thing. Be in tune. Yep, nope, gotta just stick with it. You know? This is the reality, is you have these colder periods. Gotta get that music going, so when we got cold days like this, I can just blast some tunes. Is this the rug on JZXN? Look how quick this trip was. I mean, it could still bounce, of course. But, like, this is kind of what I was expecting. I was honestly kind of surprised we even got this leg. And maybe it recovers, right? There's always a chance. But to me, it's just, the stock has a history of rugging. We're in a slower market, it looks like. This definitely seems like a riskier play. Even with KNF, or KANF. I like the setup we got. Low dilution chance. This one has pulled back on basically no volume. But the problem is that there's just no volume in general. So, like, I can't really expect to bounce if there's no volume at all. How am I supposed to catch the knife if there's no knife? Yeah. So realistically, we've had two stocks pop on news since 7 a.m. We had JZXN, which Chinese stock, looks like it's pump and dump. We got KANF, which, I mean, the news actually is okay, but surprisingly, it bled all the way down on very low volume. So we're just not having a lot of engagement. We're 0-2. 2 out of stocks that popped have failed. And yeah, I mean, I think we just got to be patient. Like, we're at the half hour. Hopefully we get something else, but I'm not really getting my hopes up here. We had a slow day yesterday. Today could be a slow day as well. A little bit salty, though, that I missed the bottom by like 4 cents, and it looks like it was the very bottom. But it's just, it's so hard to time this when it's moving like this. Good morning, after. Well, I mean, it's a morning. Maybe not a good morning. Yeah, full round trip. You had news come out here at the 15-minute mark. We spike up. We have like the first leg, the final extension, and then you just get this, like... Absolutely brutal. Bad morning, yeah, bad morning. Bad morning to you too, sir. JZXN is super dilutive. Well, I think it's just a pump and dump. I don't even think it's dilutive necessarily, but you could be right on that. Like, this does look dilutive. Let me, we can check the, we can check for registration on it, just out of curiosity. JZXN. Let's see if this has anything on record. Yeah, they did a shelf registration last week. They did 2 different shelf registrations in December. They did one in November. They did one in September. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you're actually so right. Wow, okay. Yeah. Yeah, so this has a very big backlog, especially recently too, with shelf registrations. So, yeah, you're totally right on that. $500 million worth of shares, yeah. Good morning, Tristan, too, by the way. Sis moving, I can take a look at it. I don't really like it, but we can at least look at it. Mix it up. Yeah, no, it's certainly recovered. Even from the 7 o'clock mark, right? It started to break out at 7. It didn't rug. So that's at least impressive. I mean, the daily chart looks horrible on this. It's just a flat line, but yeah, it's slowly grinding. I'm not gonna touch it. The float's way too high. I don't know what the actual float is, but it's certainly not 1 million. Certainly higher than that. Right, you're having like 20, 30,000 on the bid and ask. cheaper stock. And even then, like, this move up is 18 cents. That's actually not that much. This is just moving slower. CANF would have hit target profit, so missed out on that trade by 4 cents. Sis 34K flow. Yeah, okay, Duvin. Come on, Duvin. Let's be real here. Do you really think it's a 34K float? Be honest with me. Do you think this is actually a 34K float? Duvin's going silent. Okay, 895K float. All right. I mean, I don't know why I said 34K, but 895K float. I still disagree. I'm looking at the level 2. It is stacked extremely thick. You're having instances where there's around 50,000 total shares on both sides. And on average, I'd say it's probably around like maybe like 5 to 10,000 on each side. That's still extremely high for that kind of float. To me, this reads closer to several million float. Yeah, I don't think this is a million. If it was a million share and we were getting this kind of volume, it'd be moving more. Well, and here's the thing, guys, right? You're giving me these very low numbers, and you got to ask yourself, why are these numbers coming in so low? Well, this stock has been diluting like crazy, right? You even had a major dump here. And even this, like, so we're looking December 8th. So let me go ahead and pull up FinViz. I want to look at SIS here. And I guarantee you that they had some kind of dilution around that time. Okay, what the actual hey is this? So what am I even looking at here? These are just all prospectuses that they've had. Like, what on earth is this? There's so many. There's so many. Did they just keep changing it? Or are these different? No, they have to be the same one, and they just kept changing. Well, let me look at it. So, like, let's see. How much are we actually looking at here? Okay, so yeah, these look like they're just changes to it. There's so many. I'm just going on the SEC real quick. I want to see if I can find the actual source. Yeah, they put so many out. Yeah, so a recent one they've put out was for 4.6 million shares of dilution. And up to 23 million of Class D, up to 18 million of Class E. So these are all different warrant levels. So they have a ton of different warrants they put out for what looks like tens of millions of shares. Yeah, it's all over the place. So it's like really hard for me to kind of gauge. There's just walls everywhere. Certainly interesting, but yeah, the idea that CIS is only 100 or a million share float is very likely false here. Not to say that it can't move, just that it's got a bigger hurdle to overcome. And quite frankly, I don't... Even if it would make the move, just because of how slow this is moving, because of the higher float, that lowers the edge, because, right, you're having to cross the spread. If the price isn't moving as much, you have less potential to overcome that spread. So yeah, I mean, I'm sitting tight here. I don't want to touch CIS. Looks pretty white to me. Are we really going to have another no trade day? We had one on Friday, and that was the first one I had in like a month or two. And then to immediately have a no trade day 3 days after. I mean, that's a surprising shift in frequency. Same for me. My scalping style usually makes the spread because I buy the bid and sell the offer quickly. If there's no momentum and the inefficient market making, then I can't make money. Yeah. Bitcoin at 69K this morning. Nice. In the site, no float. They compare what different sites have about the stock float. Take a look. Well, I mean, I can take a look at it. But I'm just saying, look, like, regardless of what no float is saying, I'm telling you that I look at the level 2. Like, look at this. You're telling me this is under, like, there's orders stacked past just the penny. Like, it's... There's definitely more than 1 million shares. Like, and that's the thing. Even if you look at these reported sites, they tell you what data they've received. If there's dilution that has occurred, they don't know. These sites don't know how much dilution has occurred. They're making an estimate, and until companies report how much dilution has taken place, they have no way to know how many shares were sold, right? There were tens of millions of shares that were made as warrants. We have no idea how many of those warrants were sold, how many of them were converted. We have no idea. So until that's reported by the company, these reporting sites don't know if there was only like a couple million shares of dilution, 10 million shares of dilution. They have no way to know. They could try to estimate it. All right, so like when I say 1 million shares outstanding for a company, I'm not necessarily saying that that's fact. I'm saying that's just what's reported. And Thinkorswim, that's what they report, or that's what they've reported from the data they've gathered. Thinkorswim doesn't update frequently, so I would understand if this data could be outdated by a week or two. That's certainly possible. But to me, I just use that as a general reference. Then I just look at the level 2. If the level 2's thick, it's definitely been diluted. If you can look on and see the filings and you see that they've done a lot of prospectuses, they've done a lot of shelf registrations, you can assume that they've probably diluted. The frustrating thing is we can't, it's like short interest, right? You can't know what the short interest is per se. You can estimate it, and they've got a bunch of different tools like Ortex that let you estimate what the short interest is, that lets you estimate what the shares outstanding are. But until it's actually reported, we just don't know. And that's not to criticize on you or anything. That's just me kind of like putting my thoughts out there about what I consider to be factual data reporting. The reality is that a lot of times they're making estimates. Yeah, BNAI has really crawled back here from the highs. Am I the only one that's kind of just like, man, I want today to be over, or for just something to move? Like, besides MPT, February has been straight junk, and that move only lasted 1 minute. Feb sucks so far. Yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of research into NPT. We can take a look at it real quick, just because there's nothing else to do. I can kind of share some of my thoughts on NPT, because I did a lot of digging into it. Because I thought this move was very strange, right? We'll do 5 days just so it shows up. All right, so to me, this seemed kind of odd that we suddenly had this weird spike that only lasted a minute and then gave the whole thing back. And my initial read was it was just a short squeeze. I don't think it was a short squeeze, despite what it might. I mean, there are definitely shorts that got squeezed here, for sure. But I don't think that's really what this was. So, and I could share the Arab as well. Arab. I actually took like 4 or 5 hours. I was going through with ChatGPT and Claude Opus 4.5, and we were all just going through, breaking it down. It was way deeper than I thought. But in terms of NPT, this spike up on 1 minute and flush seems strange to me, because even if this is a short squeeze, this shouldn't have fully retraced everything instantly. Okay, that's, for a short squeeze, this is not how a short squeeze normally plays out. And the fact that this is Chinese maybe hinted that there was something else going on. So if you go to the daily, and if you take a look at this, look at all of this price action before the spike. So you have a build up here on pretty low volume relative, and you see how we have this very gradual climb. Mind you, there was no news to support this move. Okay, so this is a very typical pattern for pump and dumps, where someone will slowly accumulate over weeks or months. Eventually, because whenever you're trying to move a price, the faster you move price, the more money the people buying and selling at that time lose. So by accumulating over months, and then finally in the final stretch, doing a massive spike up here, what ultimately ended up happening was market makers saw the massive imbalance, they pulled their orders, and it was a foreign company, so there's less regulations about market makers maintaining the bid-ask spread. Then you had people like Ross and others jumping in on top of that. You had such an insane imbalance where there was just no sellers for this one period to where it spiked up massively. And again, this wasn't just, I'm not saying this is Ross. I don't think this was just Ross either. I think what this was market makers doing a final push. This was intended to be what I believe it was a pump and dump by someone accumulating over months. But it just so happens during the final break where they were planning to sell, Ross and others also jumped in and created this massive imbalance. And this distribution, I mean, Ross sold near the top. Certainly there were some warrior trading students that sold here. But because if this was a short squeeze, there should have been a more gradual sell-off. This should not have been instantaneous death. What I think happened was after this spike, this is whenever the insider who was accumulating the stock was distributing. It was all of this. That's my interpretation anyway. Yeah, you can take of it what you will, but that's my understanding of the situation. I've seen this pattern a lot. This one isn't. This one's kind of obvious, not super, but it's a little obvious. There's more blatant ones where the pump is more extreme. This is kind of a slow grind up. You'll see others where it's a very aggressive grind up. And then like it'll go to like $50 and then crash down to 80 cents. So this one isn't as obvious, but it's still noticeable. Like the analysis, makes sense. I mean, it looks orchestrated to me. And you gotta remember too, this was a Chinese company, and these companies are more prone to doing this. I would explain the Arab situation, but it's actually very, very complicated. I wouldn't be able to explain it properly, I think. I think I would be doing it injustice, because to me this one looked very... I can like briefly explain what was strange about it, but I can't really break down why, because it's just too much. So this stock reverse split. Know that on the reverse split, fair value was around $4.60. So whenever this reverse split, it basically immediately at market open went straight down to $2. Right? So losing half of the value in like the first hour, then trading sideways for like 3 hours looked extremely suspicious to me. Right? And then the next day, it went down more, right? And it went down to $1.50. So remember, fair value should have been $4.60, and this should have been a sub 1 million float. According to the filings. So that seemed extremely suspicious, but yeah. No, usually on short squeezes, once the squeeze is over, it falls out of the sky. I agree, but even to the extent that this rollover happened, it doesn't really pass the smell test for me. I agree they fall out of the sky, but it shouldn't have been that quickly. I do agree that there were probably shorts that were in it that got squeezed. I agree there. But I don't think that was the fundamental catalyst behind that move. I think that, ironically, the short squeeze was a side participant. Because the liquidation of anyone short happens during the actual spike, not on the way down much anymore. Yeah. No, I agree. I do agree. And like, yeah, I think that NPT was partially a short squeeze. I don't think it was the driving catalyst. Not after 1 minute, bro. Why would shorts go heavy on a blue sky setup like this? It's certainly interesting. Like, it gave back the entire... You got to understand, too, there was like one attempted recovery bounce here very briefly, but this sold off incredibly hard. Shorts got squeezed, but that was planned. Yeah, Bobby, I think so, yes. Yeah, I agree, Bobby. I think the more people on the short side, the long will be happier. Well, yeah, certainly. We can only guess. Yeah, and you're right, Tristan. Again, this is speculation by me, and the reason I bring it up is one thing that maybe strengthens my argument is look at the volume. There was only around 600,000 volume. If your argument is that this was a short squeeze focused play, this level of volume should not have spiked up this much. The only way it would spike up this much on only 600,000 shares of volume is if all orders were pulled from here and there was a sudden push at that moment. To me, that wouldn't happen if there was an actual order flow going through here. Even if this was a short squeeze, if that was the focus, this should have went to like, I don't know, like $10, $12. This volume is not much higher than all of this. Hey, at least we're talking about something interesting while the market's literally doing nothing. CIS is still grinding higher, but it's... Again, like... I am watching it still, but it's just not... It's just moving so slow. Even like this entire pullback, this is probably not much. 16, no. 13 cents. No. 23 cents. Okay. But yeah, 23 cents is still not a lot for the entire move. Assuming I capture a third of that, that's like a 6-cent capture. Or, I don't know, like a 9-cent capture. Well, hopefully we get something at the top of the hour. I'm not too concerned about it. I am starting a short bias strategy, which is why I've been looking and doing more research into these pumps. I'm still gonna do the normal challenge that I'm doing here, but I'm going to be starting to do something on the side too with shorting. I don't really want to push too hard on it since like I'm gonna be more new to it, so I don't want to claim anything. Yeah, see, like, there's just no volume. No volume. So, we're an hour in. We've only had 2 stocks move on news. One was a Chinese pump and dump. The other was what looked like an okay catalyst, but just no volume. Slowly bled down. Just don't average up, yeah. Well, I don't know, Mr. Noob. So that's something I'm going to experiment with. Like, I'm looking to accept, and this sounds crazy, like, I'm accepting potential for 100% max loss. Right? So if I'm risking $10 on a trade, or if I'm putting $100 into a trade, then I'm risking $100. And I'm trying to make 30% or whatever. So these would be much bigger swings. Throw your entire account into ETHD to X bear ETF until March. Maybe. That actually, I mean, there could be something to that. The short bias strategy is interesting. I have been looking at it as well. Well, I'm just thinking that, like, it does seem like a lot of these stocks fail. So if they fail most of the time, and most people get rugged on these kind of stocks, there could be good potential to them. The question really is, most people lose on these small cap stocks. Is this... Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Arab moving. What looks like a flush. Anyway, what was I saying? The question I need to figure out is, most people losing on stocks from the small cap sector, is it because of just the spread in a long enough time period? Or are people manipulating and dumping stocks and taking more value from traders than I'm anticipating? I guess that's the real question. FYI, many of these hard to borrow require 300% margin. Being okay. No, I agree. Like, I don't even know how to say your name, man. Your name is crazy. Valone. I'm just going to call you Valone. Yeah, Valone, you're absolutely right. A lot of these are harder to borrow and they are higher margin requirements. So like I said, I'm only planning to do smaller size to test with. So like only $100 share position or $100 positions, right? So if I have a $2,500 account, $100, I can easily meet the margin requirements for that. So it's mostly going to be in the test phasing for now. See if is an actual edge to it. I've already made a bunch of criteria. I have like 15 criteria I'm looking for a short. So we'll see how that develops. But yeah, I should be starting that in the next week or so. If the results are interesting, I wouldn't mind sharing it. But for now, I'm not going to focus or make a big deal about it. Disgusting move, yeah. Interesting that it recovered a lot of this flush. I can just tell you one thing. Be proactive with managing your position. Too many shorts are not protectively covering or cutting risk and adding back properly. They just add. Yeah, and that's... I mean, I learned that when averaging down. And I mean, I think that same principle just gets amplified if you're averaging up, right? If you average down into oblivion and you don't realize the stock is being heavily diluted, you just get wiped out, right? I think we've all had that happen to us at least once. And the same thing can be true for the opposite, right? If someone was intending to squeeze shorts, right, they're manipulating the stop, pushing it up. If you just keep adding and averaging up, like, you'll get wiped out to the upside, and you're what's creating the massive spikes. So, yeah, certainly, I'm very much aware of that, Tristan. I fully agree. I do still think there could be some kind of strategy that is done with averaging up, but it needs to be very, very well planned, and it needs to be based off of a system. It can't be based off just emotions. Like, you need to be able to quantify your losses, quantify your risk. That's certainly important. Yeah, Ted's moving, but too cheap for me. I trade on hopes and dreams. Don't we all, John? We all trade on hope. It would just be nice if we could quantify that hope into a predefined metric. Yeah, stuck looking at penny stocks. Feels bad. Yeah, I mean, the general market's not even that much down. SPY's basically flat. I know Bitcoin and, like, I think gold and silver took a hit. Right, like you said, Bitcoin's at 69,000. What's silver looking like? Silver's down at 75. Gold at 48. Yeah, I mean, the markets themselves, like, even this, it's not really that intense. I was wondering if maybe just the market was potentially the cause for the slow, but doesn't seem to be the case. Go ahead and put out a poll here while we're waiting. There's a poll. We can go ahead and see. Let's see just how dead this market is for you guys today. Really? 4 of you or 5 of you are green. What on earth are you guys? I mean, I guess some of you traded CIS, right? So I guess that's part of it. I would expect most people haven't traded today. Like, that would be my assumption. I'm curious how many of you have actually traded. Because today seems like a super slow market to me. You basically would have had to trade, like, a penny stock like TED, or you would have had to trade CIS. I guess you could have tried BNAI, but BNAI is so expensive. I feel like most people wouldn't have traded it. Yeah, most people were in no trade. Yeah. CIS near 4 a.m. CST. Red down 120. You're down a can of soup, Larry. Oh, man. Gonna have to go to Candyman and steal a can of soup later. Yeah, let me do some stream sniping here. We're gonna go see how Mr. Candyman's doing today. Let's see. He has taken no trades. Yeah. Just took a green trade on TED. Good stuff, Lawson. I mean, the news is all right, certainly. It's just, it's a cheaper stock. I don't really want to get involved with it. Green on CIS, 17 cents. Okay, so it seems, I'm assuming, right, Since we have some people that have traded, I'm guessing just a lot of people have traded cis, more than I would have expected. Who is Mr. Candyman? He's another streamer. We've been talking with him lately. I mean, I've been looking for other streamers who kind of have that same ambition. Like, he's been trading for years. To my understanding, he hasn't hit profitability yet, but like, he seems like a really nice guy, and he does seem like he's putting in a lot of effort. So I respect that. Also, similar sized channel to me, so like, I don't really feel awkward like talking with them or talking about them. There are a couple other channels that I have looked at, but unfortunately, it seems like a lot of them just kind of don't really, aren't really on the path that I would think would be helpful. Yeah, so most people know trades. More people traded today than yesterday, it looks like, because we had a 70% no trade rate, which was very, very high yesterday. It seems like more people have traded today, but still majority is no trade. Yeah, so it looks like I'm still in the majority here. "15 years as a market maker on the American Stock Exchange, trading off floor is so difficult for me, struggling." Really, trading off floor is difficult for you. I would assume trading on floor would be, like, I figured that would be the hard part. What's so difficult? Like, what are you struggling with? Green now, 1085 on BNAI. Good stuff, Larry. Not at all. I was an arbitrager in ETF, so basically no risk. Yeah, okay. And I mean, to be fair, what I'm essentially doing is a form of arbitrage too with my strategy, right? I'm looking for overreactions where there's a price disparity between price and volume. So in a sense, I am also looking for arbitrage in some way. Made markets in ETF and hedged immediately. Yeah. Yeah, when you don't have arbitrage working in your favor, it does seem like it's difficult to find edge. Certainly. CNF did do a pretty nice bounce here. Very frustrating, too, in hindsight, knowing I was 3 or 4 cents off of an entry down here. So I was extremely close to getting filled. And is that the only, hold on, let me look at my canceled orders. Yeah, that's the only order I put out one order today. And it was here, and it didn't get filled by 3 cents. Oh, that would have been so nice just to have something on the board right now, but it is what it is. Less opportunities, the more difficult it is to get a fill. I think a lot of traders want to trade no matter if the opportunity is clear, because nothing was clear today. Yes, and no opportunity, but they want to feel that they are trading. Right, and you don't want to feel like you're wasting your time. Right? I feel like a lot of people aren't as. I'll take a look at it here. If this isn't anything, I'll go back to my thought. Oh, what the heck? What the hey? Arnaz, what the hey? Okay, so we gapped from 9 to like 15. Okay. There is news. All right, so that news is kind of whatever. By the way, wait a minute. This gapped way up here on like less than 10,000 volume. What the heck? Okay, this does have some range to it. What is the float on this? I suspect it's got to be lower. Yeah, this says 900,000 shares outstanding here. Looking at the level 2, it looks extremely thin. We're talking like 30, 40 cent spreads at some points. Okay. I mean, we're getting movement. Volume is still quite low, though, on this movement. Yeah, 30, 40 cent spreads is crazy. It has tightened a little bit. It looks like it's closer to 10 now. Well, when it's tight, it's around 10 cents. When it's not tight, it's around like 40 or 50 cents. I feel like this is really high. Ooh, major seller on the level 2 there. There was like a 30,000 share seller. Okay, that looks really bearish. If there's a 30,000 share seller here, right here at 12, I saw a 30,000 share seller. And if you look at the volume here, 30,000 relative to this volume is massive. Yeah, I suspect this dumps hard. Let's see if I'm correct. Yeah, until there's at least 30,000 volume. There's like 26,000 here, but this wasn't all the same person. Right? There's definitely people that bought and sold here. So I'd say maybe like 5 or 10,000 of this might have been that seller. But they probably still have shares to dump. Got a little short at 1136, very small because missed the top price. I mean, there's a good bit of support here around 920s to 860s. So I guess if you go down here to like maybe like 940, 930, that could be a bounce point. If we get there. The break of 950 could be good psychological pressure. Yeah, me catching that 30,000 share seller right here on the level 2 was critical. CANF is actually ranging quite a bit as well. This ended up going to 5. Getting some volume here, like 6,000. Certainly interesting. All right, let's see. See if we actually get more volume coming in than outflowing. No soup, I'm going to starve myself this week? Maybe. Maybe. All right, we finally got enough volume coming in here that it's showing up on my scanners. So even though there was a 30,000 share seller here, it looks like the total volume inflow is higher than that outflow. So maybe this does actually end up reversing now. Arnaz, yep. Huge volume inflow. Right, now that 30,000 share seller looks like nothing when you're looking at this volume. Looks like it's squeezing for a high of day. Could be. I mean, it's impressive volume, but we don't necessarily know if that was buying, selling pressure, or if it was just trading sideways. SNDK, first red day, was a nice play yesterday. Took only one trade on it for continuation. Well, it happens, man. Your average is 1251. Now added over 13s. Good luck, flip-flop. I just get this weird feeling that it's gonna suddenly rug super hard out of nowhere. I don't know why. I'm just expecting like a $2 rug. But it's holding up nice, right? Looks like a double top. Still very nice volume, though. It's not what you would want to see. I mean, you had a double top and you had a candle make a new high here. But for it to immediately fall back below it, I feel like this is critical. If you don't get it back above this, then People could go underwater really quickly here. Why my chart is 5 minutes late compared to mine? Omid, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you... Omid, if you might not be in sync. If you click the little live button, maybe for whatever reason you're not synced up with me. But my stream isn't super low, isn't like super delayed. You shouldn't... I'm not 5 minutes delayed. So maybe you're just not live with me. Float is under a milli, so yeah, this one's pretty risky. Yeah, this one... Like, this one you can tell. This is what an actual under million share stock looks like, right? The float is super thin. The level 2 is extremely thin. You're seeing huge range. Covered half at 11.55 for almost $1 of profit. Looks like a good cover too. I don't even know how you covered at 11.55. It never went that low. The lowest was 260 or 11.60. Might need to see some proof on that cover, man. I don't know how you covered at a price that was never hit. Dufin was here. I don't know if he's still here. You're right, it was an 1160 cover. Dang, you see, I mean, kudos, right? Covering at the very bottom of this bounce. Very nice. No, yeah, you're good, man. I mean, you can post if you want. Certainly. I mean, by all means, I like seeing results posts. So yeah, go ahead. You can post it on. Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, like, you understand why I was saying that. Like, you're saying you covered at 11.55. The price literally never went there. So I'm just like, hold on. Hold on. Are you sure? Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I'm 50-50 if this thing's going up or down at this point. Like, it's certainly showing volume. I think this is the best opportunity we've had today. But it just looks so choppy, right? I genuinely think this could go up or down here. We know we had that 30,000 share seller here. But the volume has since greatly increased, and now I'm not sure how relevant this seller actually is. Nothing gets past the captain. That's right. I can smell the bullshit. Yeah, thinking of trading Arnaz, but too high spread. No trade so far. Yeah. It's going to go once Ross starts buying. Oh, Bobby. But, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe. Hmm. There it goes. Okay, so another breakout from this level, but it immediately pushed back below it. Good volume, though, so it could very well just recapture here. The range on this is honestly pretty impressive. Right, you had a $2 range in 2 minutes. So this has very, very big range. A lot of topping tails. We've had 5 now around this area. Yeah. Like I said, five topping tails now. I mean, you could even count this one if you wanted to. It's kind of close. Wondering if Ross is red or not on RNAS. It's tricky. I don't know. The volume's definitely high enough. He could have traded it. Ross had 20K of this and it didn't go. He sold. It's over for this. Honestly, Bobby, you actually might be right. You were hoping for 450 to add and it didn't go there. Hmm. Five-minute looks horrendous. What does a 5-minute look like? Let's see. I don't know. 5-minute doesn't look terrible, right? You certainly are still trending up. You've got a lot of topping tails. You've also got some hammer candles, though, as well. Or, like, bottoming tails. Basically, this just reads to me as in an uptrend, but extremely choppy. I wouldn't say it's horrible. But yeah, it is a lot of wicks. If it wasn't trending up, I would say it's horrible. But the fact that we are seeing this range and we are seeing it trending up at the moment, To me, it reads more of just higher risk momentum. Usually when he jumps something with 20k shares, it goes. Yeah. Yeah, the fact it didn't go. If he did try to jump in with 20k, then his students follow, and that didn't cause a move, I would actually probably agree with you, Bobby. The odds that this rolls over are probably a bit higher now, if I just had to guess. Unless whoever's going to push it up has more than 20k of buying pressure. Yeah, I'm guessing Ross probably bought somewhere around here, if I had to guess. That would explain why we had this sudden flush. Ross probably bought here, right? I'm just looking at the chart, thinking where he would have to have bought. Right, you got this high volume here. He probably, or maybe he bought on this and sold on this. That could be possible too. I'm just looking at the volume. But yeah, if his students are selling here, then I don't know. It's still holding this level until this breaks and holds below it. Still has some level of strength, I think. Ross is down 8k, peanuts to him. Yeah. No, 8k is, that's like a third of a good day recovery or something. You're exactly right. He bought it the last top at 390, I believe. Yeah. I mean, just looking at the volume, like, Ross would have had to have bought on one of these two candles, just logically speaking. Yeah, and if he bought on this, he was probably looking for a squeeze back to high of day. Yeah. So if he bought on this at 390 and it reversed immediately, yeah, there's got to be a seller here, right? I don't know how big it is, but like you'd think there'd have to be a seller. INBS. Okay, a bit of a gap there. It does have news. Expects revenue to go up. Fair enough. Funny enough, I actually traded this yesterday, during market hours, not during pre-market. I traded this in my main account during this period. Yeah, this is a low float. Does Ross usually buy that close to a whole dollar value? He does it all over the place, but he has his reasonings. Okay, took a stab at this. We'll see if we catch any. Immediately flushed down. The range on this is actually way bigger than I thought. Almost a 50-cent range. Yeah, I was not expecting the range to increase that much. It's showing green, but realistically, I'm not in a great spot here. And if this does go back to 7, which it could. Dang. Yeah, that range killed me there. I didn't realize the range was going to open up that big that quick. What's crazy too, very low size. It has news. Yeah, it does have news, but this was a bit more of a drawdown than I was expecting. No, it has news. Dang, I got crushed on this one. I got in here a little under the $7 area, but... yeah, blown out on this one. Wow. Don't like see me red? We'll take a good look. This is probably going to be a big red. Wow. It's been a struggle. It has been a struggle. We've been slower, but seeing this too is very horrible, right? You just gap up into just immediate bloodshed. No cans of soup for me. Yeah. Stop loss? What's that? Exactly. Abort. Looks like they had a prospectus about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get out here, but like I said, it's such a big spread right now. It's actually a 90-cent spread. Insane. $60 drawdown too. The spread wasn't big at the time. Whenever it was up in this area, the spread was only around 10, 20 cents. When this sudden floor got swept, the spread it increased a lot. Yeah, the spread was not that big initially. Dude, even on the level 2, it's just... I can't get out. Like, the spread's just too big. Well, I'm not even hoping for a rebound. I've put multiple orders trying to get out here. 5 different orders trying to sell, but the spread is... I mean, right now it's about... What is it? Right now it's an 80-cent spread. So, like, I can't really just hit the bid here. Captain is acting like Candyman today. Indeed. Indeed. No, I mean, I got trapped in this one, for sure. I didn't expect it. When it initially dropped here, fine, you had like a 10-20 cent spread. But then whenever this next leg came down and the spread increased to like 80 cents, I mean, we're at a 90-cent spread. Like, I can't get out of that. I mean, now it's a 10-cent spread, but sell order's way down here. Honestly, that type of week, it might just be. I'm slowly dropping my order down, trying to get a fill on this, but I suspect that I have just been trapped here, and I'm just going to have to take a big loss. It's looking that way. I'll have to tell you how many orders I put in here afterwards, because I'm how many at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I'm on 8 orders now. I'm just trying to move it down slowly. See if anything's going to get me filled. Arnaz will make it back. I mean, maybe, or would lose it. That's crazy. Do I only trade pre-market? No, I trade market hours too. For what I'm doing on this account for documenting, I am just trading pre-market though. Arnaz 2025 to 1390. Good stuff. It's an awesome hit. Swing it, Captain. Mickey Malaise style. All right, so it did fill me there. How many orders did I have to lower down? Because I was initially going at like 780, 790, and I was slowly lowering my order down. $38 loss, but that's just seeing how big the spread was. And like, you guys got to understand, I was trying to get out for so long. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look how many canceled orders I have. Like, I was trying to get out. But when the spread is 80 to 90 cents, I couldn't get out. You know? And I just didn't expect that after, because like when I looked at it, the spread was only 10, 20 cents on this initial breakdown. And if you're buying here, like, it looks like a decent opportunity. Could be a bounce play. The news is okay. Yeah, take a breather. No, yeah. 30 bucks on 5K is just a tip. It is, but it's still rough. But no, if I would have crossed the spread and just tried to get out at the bottom of the spread, this would have been like a $70 or $80 loss. Like I said, the spread was like 80, 90 cents. Candy has 15-cent green trade. I give the guy at the red light $1. I appreciate the transparency. Yeah, certainly. I mean, I have my reasonings for why I do what I do. Like, I see some people that are just like, cut the trade, or, I mean, even one time I saw one person's like, you should average down. Like, I mean, I respect your guys' inputs, certainly, like, but there are reasons why I do or don't do things. Like, I wanted out of this trade. Yeah, it's looking like a bad week. So I made like 24 Monday, lost 27 Tuesday, lost 38 today. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to react to that either. Yeah, I had basically 2 minutes. It was a downtrend. Yeah, I see what you mean about the recent prospectus too. I think I gotta lower that quality a lot, mainly just because I got in without a lot of time. Yeah. Maybe that's me getting a little bit on edge too, because I didn't trade it all yesterday, and this was the first opportunity really that I took today. So it could be a bit of, I don't want to say FOMO, but just wanting to do something. Right, the fact I took 2 minutes on that prep. I mean, if I'm looking at it from here though as an entry on good news, the volume's kind of high and this pop-up was low. Yeah, this wasn't a good quality. This wasn't a good quality trade. I'm actually going to put that D+. Volatility, quite high. average on it too. Yeah. What is that? That's like a 50-something cent drop. 57-cent drop. If I would have hit the bid, that would have been like an extra... That would have been like an extra 46-cent drop on top of that. Yeah, that checks out. It was around $60, $70 at the low. Yeah. Him, she, it. Sorry for people who don't use EMAs. It's my biggest indicator for where low float, low caps can go potential for breakouts. All right, so let's get back on it here. RNAS did end up rugging. Well, not rugging really, just a sizable pullback. AIM has broken out. D plus, that's pretty generous. Well, even. So for me, C means a neutral trade, no edge. So me saying D plus, so like you go C minus, then D plus. So I'm saying that with that trade that I would actually have a negative expected value. Like I'm expecting that I would lose more than I would win on that trade. Like you got to understand too, I bought into a pullback and there was news. There were some good things going for it. The reality was just that it popped up on light volume, so that, to me, that created an expectancy that I would lose more. Still have my 5,000. Yeah, no, and, right, considering that I paid 49 last month in commissions, like, technically, like, I'm still gross up. It's just that, yeah, it's been a bad week. Blood test for 50 cancers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really just AIM, I think. I don't really see anything else. It seems like I've been having these bigger drawdowns lately too, where stocks just are doing these big drops and not really bouncing from them. AIM is so thickly traded, holy crap. Yeah. It says 3 million shares outstanding, but it's probably higher. I mean, they did have prospectus, or not a prospectus, a S1 filing January 29th, so very recently. But yes, the level 2 is super, super thick. But yeah, we're at the top of the hour. I'll go ahead and stick around the last 5 minutes, see if there's anything worth trading. BNAI, you likey? I mean, I think it's an interesting move. It's too much for me. Like, it's too high priced. I feel like the volatility is just going to be all over the place with it. Certainly looks interesting, though, for sure. In AIM, if it passes 190 to 225, I think is next one target. I mean, if it passes 190, you would have to get over 2. I mean, looking at the daily, like 160s is really the final resistance, and we're over that. I mean, that's actually where it's held. So, like, if this does hold, like, you could argue that this could push up a good ways. That's fair. 2 has a little bit of resistance, but not much, surprisingly. Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about AIM. Problem is, it's just a cheaper stock, so I don't know. This has been quite a powerful move, too. Yeah, I'm probably going to wrap it up here. I do want to touch more on INBS because I have just been thinking about it while waiting. The fact that I got in this after 2 minutes, like, think about my timeline. So I had a red day on Tuesday, no trade on Wednesday, and today I had no trades for the first 1 hour and 49 minutes. And then when I finally see a stock that looked like it had potential, right? The news was okay. The news was actually kind of good. And it had a pretty significant breakdown, right? From 990 straight down to 790s where I bought initially. Like, this looked like a good opportunity, but I didn't take enough time to look at it. And in hindsight, had I just looked at how much we gapped up before this flush and there was no volume here, this would have been something I would have been able to identify as a pass. So yeah, I think I'm just getting too antsy to take a trade. And we're in a slower market too, so like a lot of these setups lately, like JZXN, getting aggressive seems like it's being more punishing right now. I've only taken a few trades this week. I've only taken like 4 or 5, but despite taking so few trades, I've been getting punished quite heavily. And it could just be that the market environment is more dangerous right now. What was that other one we looked at? CANF. Like, this one ended up curling, but like initially, right, it just popped up and just sold for like 30 minutes. You can go in big with cheaper stocks, small sizes for me, with these, and penny stocks. I mean, yeah, you can, but of course, like, your risk is proportional, right? If you go in bigger, then you are exposing yourself more to big swings. Yeah, I'm probably going to end it here. I don't really see anything else. I just don't see anything else to look at. A little bit frustrating that today was another... I mean, we had RNAS, right? RNAS was the only really interesting move. Yeah, I'll have to think about today more. My assessment is that I likely just was too impatient to get in a trade. Having red day followed by no trade day, followed by what was looking like another no trade day was, I think, getting to me too much. But yeah, I'll go ahead and end it here. You guys have a good rest of your session. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Take care, everybody.